I usually start this podcast off by asking, what does a game day look like for you? But I really wanted to dive in first and foremost with a topic that's been on everyone's minds over the past couple months, and that is the trade and the trade deadline and everything that went along with it. But you played for Carolina for 4 seasons, and then you yourself as a player was traded to Tampa. So from a player's perspective, what goes on through a player's mind when they are traded?
I think you have 2 mindsets, really, right? You have a player, and I'll use Marty Necas because that was how the first trade happened, right? Marty Necas for Mikko Rantanen. Marty Necas through the summer, I think was ready to go, was ready to move on from the Hurricanes, feeling a different atmosphere, different team, different setup would help his game. So I think when the trade happened, I think Marty Necas has a smile on his face thinking, this is a new opportunity. This is kind of what I was looking at this summer. Not that he didn't love playing for Rod Brind'Amour and the Carolina Hurricanes, but I think that player's looking at that is, this is now my opportunity in this situation.
Okay.
On the flip side, for a player like Mikko Rantanen, I see how he was very similar to myself when I was traded. Colorado was his first team, his first love. He was locked in there. And at a moment, he didn't really feel he knew why he was traded. He felt negotiations were going well. In my situations, I had heard rumblings, but at the same time, I felt Carolina was my team. I'm not going to be traded. And then it happens. And there is a huge emotional swing. And Mike and I was with the broadcast team in New York when it happened. And he and I, Mike Maniscalco and I were at dinner and talking about these things. And then as soon as I met Mikko Rantanen, I saw a little bit of myself because he was still in shock. He was upset. Not that he was now a part of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Sure.
But it's almost like he had left his family. And his family has
100%.
traded me. And the first thing he said to me was, I'm still trying to understand. I thought we were very close in negotiations, and now I'm gone. And it wasn't something that he wanted. He didn't want to be traded. And so I think the emotional side of things that fans don't see behind the scenes was very difficult for Mikko Rantanen when he first arrived to put the jersey on for the Carolina Hurricanes and continue to play. Mm-hmm. And continue to play at an elite level and the best he could be for this organization.
Now, again, yes, from the fans' perspective, we're looking at this like, how did he not know? Like, how did he not know that this was happening? But also, there's so many people involved in a trade that goes well beyond the player. You have the front office, you have the agent, you have the team. So what behind the scenes do those conversations look like?
And I think every trade is a little different.
Okay.
And I think conversations between Colorado and Eric Tulsky here with Carolina and Tom Dundon, the owner, had been going on for a while. And I'm not sure how much the agent was involved. I think Mikko's agent probably knew a little bit, but felt, again, similar to Mikko saying, we're still negotiating. We feel we're in a good spot. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately, the team doesn't have to ask the agent. The team doesn't have to tell the player. That's their decision. You are their employee. We felt this is better for organization. We're going to do this. And they make the trade. And the first time you hear about it is a phone call. And, they're calling you and be like, we have some tough news. We feel it's better for the organization. We've traded you. Mm. And it is a very tough situation for a player who's in negotiations and not really knowing it's going to happen. But I'm not sure the exact details of how much the agent was involved or how much he knew. And none of those things are really going to come out to anybody. But Eric Tulsky and his team and the Carolina Hurricanes felt that this was going to be a very, very good piece to put in the lineup, which Mikko Rantanen is a great player, to help this organization grow and build. And as we saw over the few weeks, it didn't work out. And now the Hurricanes have moved on from Mikko Rantanen.
They've been so great. I'm so happy that everything turned out the way it did, and no one could predict that. But it seems like the team has just a better head on their shoulders. So when you as an analyst and you get to go to the practices and everything like that, how does is the vibe true from what us fans are feeling? Is that the vibe?
100%. You cannot hide that.
Yeah.
Right. I think this team would probably like to hide a little bit better that we're better now. But after the trade deadline was over, the next day I was at practice and I said, who are these guys? Because I hadn't seen them in 2 weeks. And the team we all know and love, we're back.
Yeah.
And that is not a slight of Mikko Rantanen, because off the ice, Mikko Rantanen was a great person. Mm-hmm. He was very respectable. The guys liked him, obviously very close with Sebastian Aho. Mm-hmm. And it was more the situation, the stress, and the tension around the situation is something that holds a team back.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go to work every day when there's an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Right? We do different jobs, but when there's a weird elephant in the room, it's hard to be your best.